Canada, our home and native land. True.
All this week on Jim Joe Steve Show.
Here's a story about 20 years ago. 3 bros who grew up in Baltimore to the beach show. Every summer they had to go before they got married with kids. Now they all grown. Long trips to New York and Toronto. Playing beer pong with Captain Morgan's free throws. And if you don't know, now you know. Coming in hot, Jim Joe Steve Show.
Hello and welcome back to another Steve Jim Joe Show. My name's Joe.
My name's Steve.
I'm Jim.
And we are here to provide you with some pleasure. And to help add to that pleasure, to really, really pleasure you.
What's it going
Can
to
I just say Joe wrote something down?
It appears that he has written something down, which in 24 episodes, Joe has come to the table with 0 written down.
That's because all my glory comes from an ad-lib kind of tongue-in-cheek.
Well, I'm excited. I don't know about you, Steve.
What are you excited about?
I got a little hard. I got a little hard when I saw Joe written.
A little tickle dick?
Yeah. Steve's tentpoling. I think he's excited for our guest.
Oh, I am excited for our guest.
We have a guest.
We
have
do
a guest.
have a
Steve forgot
guest.
that there's someone sitting to his right.
Jim got a knock at the door yesterday, and it was a door-to-door salesman selling lava lamps.
There's very few lava lamp enthusiasts, as we spoke about last week.
There are. And you guys have found each other, and it's wonderful. I'm going to give a little intro for him. Our guest today has a resume that speaks for itself. As a 2004 Canadian Summer Olympics sailing team hopeful, former lead singer of a garage punk band, shaper of 11 to 13-year-old minds.
Was that the name of the band?
Cycling enthusiast, leader of the Papa Wheelies, sailing school owner and operator, and with the hands the size of baseball gloves. Please welcome Geoff to the show.
Hey-o!
Hey, what an introduction.
Canadian Geoff.
Canadian Geoff.
You've been brought up.
Hold your
hands
up.
numerous times.
All right, here. They're not
Put
that
your
big.
hand against his.
They're
Steve, touch his hands.
here. I'll give you.
They're
only-
Okay,
It's
very
a big
large
claw.
hands.
Show me your dick.
That's
the hand ratio.
That's
that
the
was
next thing that always
actually
goes up.
that was my first question. First question, Geoff.
we
how
would
does
do
it
this
feel to
thing,
be the
that's what we
world's
have to do,
foremost
that.
example of big
dude.
hands not always meeting what everyone assumes it means?
You know, I think there's just a lot of disappointment. Like when,
It's amazing. Are you married or are you dating?
So I'm married. So I've been with my wife for a long time.
Oh.
But yeah, so
She said congratulations. How long have you been married for?
I don't know.
Oh, put you on the spot.
2010.
Does your wife listen to this?
She's
She's
does
not a
not
fan.
listen.
No.
She will listen to this episode because
So will all your Canadian friends, I hope.
and
we
my
need to
Canadian
spread the word
friends.
in Quebec.
Hi, Dennis.
Our second biggest country that we're in is Canada.
Oh.
Do you get tired of people asking you questions about Canada, like when they meet you and they're like,
Oh,
or they
Say A.
Yes.
Yeah,
so that's the thing about like being Canadian is that like I've been living in the States for 14 years now, so I've heard all the Canadian jokes. And the funny thing is that like some of them are really good, and some of them are just terrible. Like some of them are these like South Park jokes. Others are like really clever and never heard before. I think one of the things I like most is that like Americans love Canadians, right? Just like
because you're not a threat.
Yeah,
we're
it's
like
fucking Canada.
fuck the Canadians.
Last time I was in
we
Canada,
love a Trudeau.
Yeah, I can't speak for all Canadians, but many
Jesse.
Canadians don't like Americans.
Because we're boisterous and rude.
It's like it's like
Entitled.
living with a 800-pound gorilla. Right?
So
it's like it takes up a little bit of space.
Yeah, it's so funny. Like Geoff used to go back home to Canada for the entire summer and has since stopped doing that and just goes back home for a little while. But the first time he
4
goes,
weeks.
for Canadian Independence Day.
it's for holiday.
Isn't it? I always like that word better than vacation. Holiday.
Yeah, holiday.
It's way better.
We tried to you remember when we tried to shift to that and it just didn't stick?
Yeah, I just couldn't do it.
But Geoff sends out a text message to the whole group. It's like, hey guys, there's this farmer next to my parents' farm, and he sells maple syrup. Who wants a can? And he brings home
A can?
He smuggled home like countless amounts of cans,
Several $100 worth of maple syrup.
and like that. but that's like a thing. Like he had to smuggle it home.
Because I guess it's like a like a fruit and vegetable kind of
Yeah,
thing.
right.
Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's kind of what's funny is that it's a cliche, right? Like, I get all, and people say, do you have maple? Do you like maple syrup?
Best maple syrup I've ever
Yeah,
had.
like actually, my parents grow it, or
Oh,
they
really?
have like maple trees at a farm, and the guy next door
Taps
them and
Drills
does all
holes
that
in it?
stuff. Yeah.
What is that? What it's called? Tapping it?
I would
Yeah.
assume.
Like
I don't
putting
know.
a tap? Do they like put a straight tap? I don't know.
They do. They like plug a hole and they hang a little bucket under it.
Yeah,
and
just
it's like,
collect it.
seriously.
No
like,
wheeze in
if
the
you-
juice.
little juice. No, whizzing the juice. Whizzing the juice. No, whizzing the juice. No, whizzing the juice.
So when you left your motherland, did you come to America for better opportunity?
Oh, there's a story.
Oh,
There are a few good
and
stories.
there's a girl involved.
There's a girl involved.
Son of a
Milli
bitch.
Vanilli's involved. There are a lot
Oh,
of things.
wait a
There
minute.
are a lot of. I don't know if that's is a long story. The short of it,
Give me the
Yeah.
elevator speech.
the elevator speech. I was in Montreal. I was hanging out. I saw this guy who had a moving truck with California plates. I was just kind of like between jobs, and he
Unemployed.
said, "Yeah, I was unemployed.
Okay.
It's like a substitute teacher."
Oh,
And I was looking at like going to teachers college and this and that. I'd applied to law school and done a few different things. And this guy's like, "Yeah, I'm going back to California with an empty moving truck." He's like, "Do you want to come with me?"
Do you want to ride in the empty part of the truck?
Yeah, it's like, "Do you want to come to California with me?" And I said,
Do you know this guy?
No. Like I helped him out like with his car or something. Like you
Like
know,
just as a friendly Canadian,
as
like
a
this guy
friendly
looks like he
Canadian,
needs
yeah.
help. I'm gonna help him.
Yeah, and like I don't know. And so he said, "Yeah, I'm leaving tomorrow." So I called my girlfriend and I was like, "Hey, you want to go to California?" Because she was finishing her master's like that summer, and she's like, "Yeah, we can talk about that later." I took that to mean,
You can go,
That means-
and I'll
yeah,
call you
that
in
means-
California.
yeah, you're in. So I emptied our apartment, just like
Oh,
fucking.
she's out of there.
Wait, you put your entire apartment in this empty truck?
It was just like a 2-bedroom apartment. So I just moved everything downstairs. I had like 6 bikes, books, and all this crazy
6
shit.
bikes.
He's a cycling enthusiast. I said
And-
that in my opening speech.
Yeah, you
My
did.
girlfriend comes home. She's furious that like all of her stuff is in
You moved her to California based on a phone call.
Yeah, well, like she said she was okay with it. She said she was like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Or she said like, yeah, we can talk about that. She said something that
Wah,
she said
wah,
she said
wah, wah.
words.
she said words that I took.
But she
to
shook her
mean-
head sort of yes,
Yeah,
and she didn't
so
say
she came
no.
home, and she was.
Hey, sweetheart, do you want to move to the United States? Okay.
I mean, she was
in.
American.
Were you home when she got home?
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
I was like in the moving truck, like with all
Like
she-
like
Ready
living,
to go
like
as she
living
gets off
in it.
work,
she
like,
was so angry at me. And so I had to move all.
But she was Canadian angry, so she wasn't like
No,
really
she said
angry.
she was American.
Yeah, she's American.
Oh.
And so I had to
She
move
was
all of her
really
stuff
angry.
back up into the apartment. The next day I left for California.
And she stayed back.
She stayed back. We get to the border and they let him through. They don't let me through because they're like, well, shit, who visits?
fuck are you?
Yeah, like, why do you have 6 bikes? I'm
Why
like,
are
no,
you
I'm just
move-
coming to visit.
Why are you just visiting with a moving truck?
Yeah, like, why do you have an encyclopedia set? Did they open?
It's before the internet, motherfucker.
Anyways,
because the salesman was really good.
the short of it, he doesn't let me go through. So this guy moves all my
Wait
stuff.
a minute, they just didn't let you leave?
Yeah, so my girlfriend had to come pick me up at the border.
With all your
man.
shit?
No, because
That guy
like,
took all
yeah,
your
he
shit?
took all my shit to LA.
Because he was an American.
Like I said, this is a long story. I'm not sure if this is the right story.
Oh, this is the right podcast for a long story.
Anyways, so she and I like hang out, and she brings like my passport and like some other things that I need to actually get into.
You
You
didn't
didn't
bring
bring
any
your
of that stuff?
goddamn passport.
Maybe I had. Maybe it was like no. Like I think I needed like proof that I had a job. So she like brought some pay stubs. So I could, and then I got like then I flew out to LA, and like met this guy who had all my stuff. And
This isn't the guy that came on the bike thing with us. The older guy.
no,
Okay.
it's
all
Mark. And so this guy, he was like a mover, and so like the next day, like
It's the truck.
anyway, so I get to LA, and I meet up with him, and he's like, yeah, here's your stuff. Hope you had a good flight. And I was like, well, how can I repay you? He's like, well, I need a guy to help me move, which is where I meet Milli Vanilli,
Oh.
or Millie from
Millie.
Not
Yeah.
Vanilli, but you met Millie.
Yeah, I think Vanilli died. I think it was the Millie. Anyways,
Is
that their
Vanilli
names?
dead?
Is that their name? Was it really named
there
Millie
was like
Vanilli?
Millie and Vanilli.
Hey, Steve, take this opportunity to pour some beer out for Vanilli.
All right. Peace out, Vanilli.
I always like Vanilli better. Son of a
It
bitch.
was funny. Like I thought he would have like a nicer apartment, but like it's like shit.
Well, it's in California. You get what you can get.
Yeah. So like we drove around Hollywood, like getting his shit out of like his one apartment, moving into another. Went up to San Francisco and ended up getting into school, and my girlfriend ended
Who
up
did
coming.
you live? What like that's a big skip over.
It-
Like
it's-
I always
it's-
went
it's,
over
you
there.
know,
like,
I lived in a youth hostel for a few weeks.
with your 6 bikes.
So the bikes I had to leave at a yacht club under like my friend's boat.
So you found a place to stick your shit.
Yeah, I found a place, like the back of a yacht club, and my buddy had a boat and kind of covered it up with stuff. And I think
At least you had somebody in LA to that you could store your shit.
anyways, but yeah, I ended up staying out there. My girlfriend at the time moved out.
Okay, so she did catch up with you.
Yeah, she caught up, and we ended up getting married.
Oh, well, congratulations.
Yeah,
Sorry, I called her a bitch
bought a
earlier.
house, had some kids, and yeah, it was,
Had some
we stayed
kids,
there
like,
for a long
yeah,
time.
yeah.
It was
Side
fun.
note,
I'm
had
sorry,
a
this is
fucking
like a
couple
really
kids.
long story.
That
But
is
yeah, it's like
funny.
one of those things where like you see something in life, and it's like you see an empty moving truck, you see some fucking like little wormhole, and you're like, fuck, if I don't take this, I'm just gonna fucking go for it.
99% of people say, yeah, it's an empty moving truck.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that,
That guy just
Yeah,
dropped
no, that's
off a
not how
bunch of
I roll.
shit.
you saw
good luck to
you
that
saw a
dude.
California license plate.
Yeah.
You were like, this is my chance.
This is it.
This is Hollywood.
That's pretty cool though.
Yeah.
This is it. I don't know. I mean, like I was looking to move, and like I'd lived out west before.
You saw the
Yeah,
opportunity,
yeah.
and you
And took
fucking
it.
took it.
I don't know.
So when you live next to Joe, is he like a popular guy in the neighborhood?
Yes.
Really?
Is everyone,
In a word, yes.
are there people that don't like Joe that he doesn't know?
Oh, I'm sure.
Uh,
Give us the, no,
Only
listen,
very recently.
don't be afraid to hurt Joe's feelings because you make 2 out of the 3 of us very happy.
he's generally pretty well liked.
He's well
in
received?
the neighborhood.
I don't know how that's possible.
Is there? I wanted to know if people
Oh
talk
yes,
about
Carl doesn't like me.
Well,
What did you do to Carl?
So Carl's the neighborhood like boat repair guy, Yamaha expert,
Okay.
and I was filling up my boat with gas one time, and I like pulled away, and my boat was brand new, like it had, it was like a month or 2 old, and another guy in my neighborhood was also filling up at the same time, and he got done before I did, so he takes off, and then I leave after him, and I saw that he was stopped like, I don't know, 200-300 yards away from the marina. And so I stopped my boat and I called him and I said, hey, is everything okay? He's like, yeah, something funny's going on, but I think everything's okay. I said, do you want me to hang out and wait? He said, no, go back. So I left. I headed back towards the marina, and then I get a check engine light. And again, my boat is brand new.
I was with you.
That's right. That was the time yes, you're absolutely right.
Joe forgets everything and also forgets his passengers.
No,
sometimes.
I was with him.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it was in the middle of the summer. It was like a 99-degree day out. That marina stores their gas above ground, and the gas was hot as hell. And
Because the guy who was getting gas before us, his boat stopped working.
correct, and he's who I called.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I called him to see, and he was like, "No, like I'll be okay. Just keep going." It's like, all right. So I go home. Absolutely, you were with me, and I had the check engine light come, and I freaked out, right?
Yeah.
Because I've got this
Yeah.
brand new boat. Why do I have a check engine light? So I get back to the marina. I turned it off and then turned it back on. No check engine light. It's like, all right, that was weird. And then, then Graham, my buddy who's broken down, like his motors, like something bad happened to his motors, but his boat was a bunch of years older than mine. So I start freaking out. Like, did I put something in my boat? Was it bad gas? Because like I guess bad gas is a thing in marinas. But it ended up not being that. It was just that the gas was too hot. Like, I guess your motor
You had to
can't
wait for it to
burn
cool down?
You have to wait for it to cool down. And there is a cooling process in boat motors. Like, I guess it runs the fuel along like water lines that
Okay.
are to whatever. But I don't know where I was going with this story.
Yeah, well, it's fucking whatever.
Well,
Where were we going with that story?
Carl.
Oh, right.
God damn it. Joe forgets everything, even what he's actually talking about. Sometimes I just talk and I don't know where it's going. I just find it along the way.
So I don't write anything down. Weeks later, like I called the marina. I was like, "What's going on?" And and I talked to a couple of guys, and they were like, "Yeah, it's nothing. Don't worry about it. The gas was too hot. It had to cool down. Everything was fine." It did end up hurting Graham's motors because his boat was older and something didn't work. Couldn't handle it exactly.
The flux capacitor.
So I see yeah, the flux capacitor. I see Carl, who's like the neighborhood boat guy. Like he's a mechanic. He does this for a living, and he was like swearing up and down that it was something else. And I was like, no, like I got gas the exact same time he did. I had a problem. As soon as it cooled down, it was fine. And like I paid.
So because you didn't give Carl business.
No, it was because I was already not giving him business. I was just telling him he was wrong about something.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was an old pro, and I was told him he was wrong. And my boat always ended up being fine, and Graham's boat ended up being fine.
Carl's always been side-eyeing you. Fuck you, Carl.
Carl. What was the Walking Dead meme?
Carl. Well,
right,
I think we do have to, because we are thankful to have you on, Geoff, but there is a thing we have to do.
Like Thanksgiving Day or Boxing Day thankful?
Well, I don't know what Boxing Day is.
Isn't that like Canadian Thanksgiving?
Yeah, Boxing Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Is that not on the American calendar?
It is on the American calendar, but not something we celebrate. It's like the day after Christmas, right? It's like December 26th.
Then it's invisible.
Well, but the calendar does say it.
Okay. Well,
my calendar
just like Boxing Day, do they sing on Boxing Day?
Oh, well, do we sing on Thanksgiving?
It doesn't matter, but we sing on Jim Joe's Tea Show.
So here I guess.
I didn't know you were going with that. I got it.
I did. I picked up what he was throwing down.
So,
you didn't hear the pre-show meeting, did you?
Joe forgets.
I forgot.
So, Canadian Geoff, do you understand what we do here with our guests?
I've been warned.
So we sing our guilty pleasure.
I heard you do that on one episode.
Oh.
How many times have you guys been
We've
doing
only had
this
one
to-
guest.
So you are.
So other than Jim, Joe, Steve, you're the second person.
The first time is a coincidence. The second time makes it tradition.
Yeah, is that
Yeah,
tradition?
so you now officially make it a tradition. now.
Okay.
And Joe read your intro and said you were a singer in a band, so it kind of pissed me off because I was like, "Fuck."
Well, it was a punk band.
I wasn't really. I wasn't the singer. I was a bassist. I kind of.
okay.
Oh, you slapping the bass?
Yeah, you know how
you
every
did
band has
that
like their own
backup.
Yeah.
You did the backup part. All right. So do you have a guilty pleasure?
Do you
song?
have a guilty pleasure?
So a little shout out to my friends in Montreal. We used to do like. Oh,
Don't. Well,
okay.
Do we let our guest shout out? We don't let our guest shout out.
He can shout out.
He can
shout
out.
We want international listeners.
Fine,
This is an
Canadian.
international.
So I want you to tell your story, but I don't want you to say what the song is. I just want you to go right into it.
Okay. I rehearsed this.
Oh, you did?
No.
Did you tell
actually a
the
Shakira
intern
song.
on the way in so that they can play the music behind you so you can sound decent?
Oh, that intern, man! I can't believe how many interns you have here. Like,
Well, there's only really one good intern. The rest of them are just big tits.
They
and
bring
business.
us beer.
Yeah.
So, what are we waiting for?
Well, shout out your
Would
people.
you know this song?
Let the
if I just sing the verse, will you know this song?
Do we have
That's the
Canadian
question.
shout outs?
No, but
Did we?
we almost just happened.
I think we just had it almost
and Joe
a
tried to
Canadian-
say no.
so
No, I tried to say yes.
Oh yeah, Jim tried.
Jim tried to say no.
Go ahead.
this is for Dennis.
I'm
going
going
to
to shout out to Liz again.
Dennis?
Because that's when Jim gets.
Dennis.
Oh, I love Liz. Liz is great.
All right, here's the song. Let's see if
All right.
who can get this first.
right.
Oh,
Off the Florida Keys, there's a place called
Kokomo.
That's where we want to go to get away from it all.
Nice. Good
Sing
choice.
it with me.
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
Bodies in the sand.
Bodies
All right.
in the sand.
Tropical drinks melting
Melting
in
in
your
your
hand.
hand.
Okay, and that's enough. Thank you.
I only know the chorus of that song.
Oh, we should
that's
all
all-
sing the chorus together.
All right.
Are
okay.
we-
You kick it
All right,
off,
yeah,
and
kick off the
we'll
chorus.
come in.
Down in Coco, Aruba, Jamaica. Ooh, I wanna take you to Bermuda, Bahama. Come on, pretty mama.
There
Key
we go.
Largo, Montego, baby.
I like that. I like that. Intern, play some fucking clapping.
Clap for us, intern.
We're gonna
Wow.
be celebrities.
I think we sounded fucking like a goddamn quartet.
We did.
I know.
Barbershop style.
That is funny. My son, my 3-year-old son Jack, that is his favorite song.
It's a good song.
Seriously?
Yeah, I have a video of him singing it.
Oh, we won't have to post it. No, I'm joking. We can post it.
No. I think
I'm just feeling feisty tonight. Got 3 beers in front of me.
Little
I'm just
squirrely.
sipping one of each.
Well, I think we got a game.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, who wants to play a game?
Oh, I gave the intern some type of intern, play the game show music that I gave you.
Not that one. The next one.
No, stop. Reset
Hammer
it.
time.
Okay. So, I came up with a game.
All right.
It's titled Jim's Stupid Ass Movie Game. So, if you ever want to play in the future, the official name, Jim's
right.
Stupid Ass Movie. Okay, so I tried it because we don't have buzzers here.
Yeah.
I had to think of like the answer plus some, right?
Gotta give everybody a shot to answer, right?
I'm going to say a line from a movie or a scene from a movie. I'm going to speak the scene from a character. It's a famous, like, I got 3 of them. So it's a famous one. And what you're going to do is name the character or the famous person's name. Either one. It could be the actual character or the actual actors. The movie's title it is. And then the breaker would be name another movie that the actor played in. So, for instance, if I said the first rule is not to talk about, you would say, you can either say Tyler Durden or Brad Pitt. Fight Club and then Benjamin Buttons.
Okay, gotcha.
Or, it could be any movie. And the first one that completes it would be, obviously, the winner. So I got 3 questions, just because it could be a fun game, but really because I was a little lazy and I didn't want to do more than 3. So I'm going to read a scene, name the character, the movie, and then another movie that character played in.
It's going to be a porno.
I'm not going to do that. Okay.
I thought that was gonna
But you
be
could.
funnier than it was.
There's one like,
All right.
That's what I got on my head. Like,
Wow. All right.
Thump,
So,
I know that sound.
all right. Are you ready? All right. Let me get in character. All right. Here we go. Ready? Are you ready?
Go.
All right. Here's a scenario for you, Dad. Suppose Nancy sees me coming out of the shower and decides to come at
I
me.
know it. I got it.
I'm looking good.
Tommy Boy.
No.
I got a luscious
Can I
V of
just
hair
go?
growing
Can I
from my
just go?
chest to my pews.
It's John C.
falling
Reilly
down.
and Step Brothers.
Yeah.
John C. Reilly was also in Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah.
Boom, Wreck-It Ralph.
Boom,
And I
ding,
looked
ding,
at Wreck-It
ding.
Ralph, and I thought no one's going to guess Wreck-It Ralph for John C. Reilly, but you fucking did.
To my ball fro, right? That's what he says.
Yeah,
I got
yeah.
a luscious V of hair going from my chest to my pews down to my ball throw.
Yeah.
She takes one look at me and goes, oh my God, I got to have that old bull.
I've had the old bull. I need the young stallion.
Man, off the top of his head,
God.
Steve
Step
Ripken.
Brothers.
That's good.
Step Brothers is one of those movies. Like, do you ever like go
I
out
don't think
drink?
I've seen it.
Oh, really?
Oh, man.
Holy
It was
suck.
so
is that,
good.
is that
There
an
a
only
movie like-
American thing? The Canadians don't watch
okay.
Step Brothers?
Are you a movie guy or no?
Yeah, I like movies, but that's a Will Ferrell movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't say you don't like Will Ferrell.
I like Will Ferrell.
It was Step Brothers is one of those movies like old school. Like, where do you ever see old?
Oh, I can
Yeah.
watch it every
And I watch it
single
anytime it comes out.
time.
Yeah, just like
Crickets.
what's the Tom Cruise Navy lawyer movie?
Top Gun.
A Few Good Men.
Few Good Men.
You can watch. That's your movie that you watch.
That's my movie. If I come across that on
Wait,
TV, I don't
Demi
turn
or
it off.
Demi,
Demi Moore,
Demi.
yeah.
How do you is that
Demi Moore.
How do
How
you
do-
pronounce it?
How do you feel about Top Gun 2 coming out? Is it going to be?
Butt-sized.
Okay,
So excited.
Are we watching as a podcast,
I
or
would
are
love
you going?
that.
Or are you doing a date night?
No. I would love that. I
Okay.
would love. So I had that VHS as a kid.
We talked about this.
Oh, we did?
You
Okay.
Jesus Christ, Joe.
You would wake up early and you would go
And your
downstairs.
parents-
I know
watch it.
that.
And you took it to your grandparents' house.
All right, guys.
Podcast means nothing to you,
I
Joe.
gotta go.
All right, question number thing number 2. Yeah, Fugazi, Fugazi, it's a Wazi, it's a Woozy.
Oh,
It's fairy dust, man.
It's
It
Matthew
doesn't
McConaughey
exist.
on A Wolf of Wall
Aladdin.
Street. And then Matthew
It-
McConaughey
it-
was also in.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Matthew
It's
McConaughey
not an
was
elemental
also
chart.
in
It's
Mud.
not fucking real, man.
Mud, good. Did we
Oh,
see? We saw that in the
Mud?
movie together.
Either
Mud was the pool for Matthew
Yeah.
McConaughey.
I mean, I did it because Joe and I saw it. I was gonna say Lincoln Lawyer or
I would go Lincoln or
True
what?
Detective.
What's the Nest?
Interstellar.
Interstellar. Yep.
I love that movie.
Wow. Mud was the pull for
Dude,
Matthew
Mud was a
McConaughey.
really good movie.
I just knew Joe and I saw that movie, so I did it to get a reaction.
Okay.
You know what's funny? I just watched Wolf of Wall Street like 2 nights ago.
For the first time?
No,
Oh.
for like the 6,000th
That's
time.
that's like one of my
He's like,
favorite scenes. Yeah.
That's that
How many
scene.
times you jerk off? You got to get those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers. Jeff, Canadian Geoff, do you ever watch a movie in your life? Come on, man. You got to step up.
Yeah. No, I like movies.
All
They
right,
just move a little slower up there.
Yeah.
All right. Here's the last
They,
one.
they have to
So-
have Canadian actors if
get-
they're gonna make it across
Yeah,
the border.
you got to have a Ryan Reynolds movie teed up for him.
Yeah, I don't. So here's the last one.
Seth Rogen.
Yeah, he's
Oh, yeah,
Canadian.
Seth Rogen's Canadian.
Take yesterday, for example. We were out at the Olive Garden for dinner, which was lovely. And I happened to look over the meal.
Speaking of old school
Old
with
school,
Will
yeah.
Ferrell,
And there was this waitress taking an order, and I found myself wondering what color were her underpants.
maybe it's something I don't even know.
panties. Odds are they're probably basic white cotton panties. But I started thinking maybe they're silk panties. Maybe
it's something
thong.
I've never heard of.
Maybe it's something I don't even know about. Canadian Geoff, come on. Give us
I
a pull. We're-
can't do
we're
it.
throwing
I
you a
can't do it.
softball.
I don't know. Like
Old
right.
school.
Is that old school?
That's old school.
It's kind of funny that
when
I
they're in the
mentioned
How do I
old
not know
school. Like, I mean, he had 2 Will Ferrell movies lined up.
Yeah,
That's
my
true.
2
That's-
favorite
I mean,
Will
it's-
Ferrell movies.
that's the wheelhouse.
I try to make it easy.
He knows his audience.
That's it.
Well, I'm sorry, I couldn't.
So
couldn't
Canadians
get those.
aren't great with movies. You know, you're representing all Canadians tonight.
Shame of Canada. But you see, like all my Canadian friends are like, "Fuck, he's not Canadian. He's American. He hasn't lived in Canada since."
so you are now American to your Canadian
I'm like
friends.
the most American.
So they
guy.
hate you.
Yeah.
They're like, here comes that 800-pound
God,
gorilla.
He just
Yeah.
eats Big Macs all day long.
Yeah, I think the thing that Canadians hate most about me or my Canadian friends is that I just never follow the law. Like, like
Which
'cause
law, the Canadian or
just,
the American?
Like any kind of law that like it's the Americans. Like if some guy like makes up a law like in the state legislature or something, like people don't necessarily follow it, right? Like they fight it, they do this or that.
Yeah,
right?
I mean that's
they
kind of our
disagree
nature.
with it, protest. Whereas in Canada, like if there's a law, I mean I can't speak for all Canadians,
But you do.
but like I will. For your back. Like people
For
tend
this
to follow,
podcast,
people tend
anyway.
to follow the law. Like they tend to and like take pride in
Like,
how
all right,
well they
that's
can
it.
follow
That's
this.
the
It's
law.
like,
Time-
there it is.
time
Did you
to
not
start doing
know?
it that
Yeah,
way.
Yeah.
So they just don't question it.
Yeah.
Just do what you're told, and everyone's happy.
It's like a source of pride.
Yeah, I don't know.
I have no opinion on these geopolitical
Yeah.
issues.
So,
To quote the
how
great
long-
Homer Simpson, don't ask me how the economy works.
So how long was it since when you moved to the U.S. that they were like, "You're a fucking American now, asshole"?
I don't know. Oh, like
3
so,
weeks.
like
Because in the
14
beginning,
days.
you were
Yeah.
just out getting intel.
Yeah, just getting some. Like I was really working for the other
Right,
side.
right.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe when I got married, I married my lovely wife, and kind of once you marry an American, then you kind of.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So-
It kind of dirties the water.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So how?
So hold on, wait a minute. So how did you make the transition from California to Maryland?
That's another story.
I've only known one person that actually has done that successfully.
He did it for work.
Why did we move to Maryland? The short of it, crab cakes. No,
Okay.
no,
Fuck.
I mean,
Good
I
answer.
fucking hate
Good
crabs.
answer.
You hate crabs?
do?
You don't say that.
Yeah, no, I was trying to. No, I don't like crabs.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah,
Do you know it's about socialization? It's not necessarily about the crabs.
yeah, there are lots of ways to socialize.
Just as long as you don't do it to our goddamn health care.
We can do it on the schooner.
So where
Schooner is a sales.
so where was your wife from?
She's from New York.
Okay, so she moved to Canada for
Yeah,
coincidence
like,
or for you?
College. Like she
Okay,
went
so-
to college up
and
there.
you met her
yeah.
after she moved to Canada.
Yeah. She, I was like,
And then she followed you to Cali.
she followed me to California.
And did you follow her to Maryland, or did she follow you to Maryland?
Well, I mean,
Or did you follow each other?
We had been together for 14 years.
But one of you wanted to come to Maryland, and
yeah,
one of you was going along
I think
with
that was my idea.
Okay, so she followed you.
Yeah, I guess you could put it that way. I mean, like
We already had kids at that point.
Yeah, we had kids.
I
Like
did put
it
it
was like
that way.
it was a family decision to move to the East Coast. We had
How
family,
many kids at that point?
3.
And how?
We had a
Jesus
4-year-old,
Christ.
a 2-year-old, and an infant.
Okay, so they didn't have best friends yet. So you were still in that zone.
No,
that
and
you
we'd
could
also
move.
had like a massive mudslide at our house, and so like our house was essentially like on the side of a cliff. And
So you got
okay.
you got the worst of California when you were.
I mean,
there.
I thought we got the best. I mean, because
you got a mudslide.
Well, I mean,
they had
that
great
was like
weather,
that was like
aside from the
that was like a
earthquakes.
setback. That was a small setback, but like we
Not having a home anymore.
I mean,
So,
you're talking to a guy who just saw a van and was like, "I'm going
He saw
there."
an empty van and put all his shit in it. Fucking moved to a
so
different country.
it was like from those movies, like those like disaster movies where like pipes start breaking in like houses and like they start seeing like
Yeah.
things
Yeah,
yeah.
Death.
So like I started noticing like we had a house on the side of the hill, and like I started noticing like my like spigots for like hoses were starting to break underneath my driveway, and like retaining walls were starting to collapse.
So it was very
And
slow.
then and then there was like a massive mudslide where like the whole side of a hill came down, and our house was starting to tilt. Like marbles would like kind of go all the way to one side of the house. And I was like, honey,
It's time to get the hell out
Time
of
to
town.
sell.
let's sell this house. Let's just get out of this house before.
Did you sell it?
Yeah, we sold it.
Is the
Before-
house still standing?
I actually went to go see it a few weeks ago.
Is it still there?
Yeah, it's still there. They had to do like build up the retaining walls and like do a lot of work on it.
Wow.
But yeah, yeah. So and I was looking to.
So why Maryland? Because there's 49 other states.
That's true.
Jeff likes to sail.
We do have a great bay and harbor.
Yeah. So there's like I like to sail. I don't know. Like there are a lot. You can buy a house for like under $600,000, or you could which
Right, right.
you can't get a parking spot in California for $600,000.
Yeah, that is a crazy thing.
So and like good schools, close to big cities.
But she's not from Maryland, of course.
No.
And so did you know anyone in Maryland?
I'd coached sailing for a year in like my early 20s. I was like
Okay, so
actually
you
I worked illegally for a summer as a sailing coach.
Excellent start. I mean,
yeah.
most of Marylanders fucking work illegally.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Only your employees.
Yeah, so I had a summer of just coaching sailing at this club in Annapolis, and so I knew the area, had a few friends, and
How did you get? So you lived on a farm growing up.
I grew up in the city.
Okay,
We had like a
farm.
cottage. Yeah, we had like a cottage.
Vacation
that was
farm.
like it's like our weekend, I guess. Home.
Farm.
What
Farm.
city?
Montreal.
Is Montreal like surrounded by water?
It's an island. Yeah.
where do we go in Canada?
We went to Toronto.
How far away is that?
Oh, Toronto, eh?
Really turned it on.
Oh, you must be American.
I only know
went to-
Toronto.
So do you speak French?
Mais je parle français.
I was gonna say. I was like,
Steve's gonna blow you.
Does that turn you on to hear a man speak French?
Well, I went to Montreal.
Oh, for what? A bachelor party?
No. I just went. I went when I was in like school. So
For school?
For school, like we did like a
By school?
week vacate. We went there for a week. So and it was I
that
love
for like
Montreal.
French class?
What's that?
Was that for like a French class?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was. It was, and
No hookers or anything.
No.
No hookers in Canada?
I mean,
that's why you moved here then.
but
No
I remember we had where they put like I guess it was like some kind of like maple syrup on snow
yeah.
and then like put it on like a lollipop kind of thing.
It's called tir.
Is that what it's
Tia?
called?
It's not very funny. Yeah, it's just like maple syrup on like
On snow. I think
snow,
Steve
and
described
you
it.
eat and
Yeah.
yeah,
That was a fun.
Lots of
I had
snow
that.
and maple syrup.
I'm so way more cultured than you
Is this like
motherfuckers.
something that people do like at their house, or is this something they do in like the city and they
It's
sell
like
it
a
on the
novelty
street?
thing.
It's
you know?
probably
It's something they do for
touristy.
tourists.
Yeah, it's probably
That's-
like going to the chocolate factory in the Inner Harbor or whatever, where Cisco
Oh,
works.
Sis-
Cisco
Cisco.
sing and make some fudge.
What was his song? What was
Fudge
his
Factory.
the long song? Thong.
Yeah.
I only have one. I only know one Canadian person. Now I know two. I used to work with this guy back when I worked way back in the day. He came from he was a hockey player. He was totally like whatever, like quintessential Canadian. Anyway, like we worked. It was a retail, so we worked at the mall. We got off work, and of course, when you get off work at the mall, it's like late at night. It was like probably 10:30.
He was like, "Man, I need some Labatt's Blue."
Yeah.
And he had like the fake teeth because he got knocked out with a hockey puck. You know, like totally 100% hockey
He
player.
had maple
Canadian.
syrup like in the back of his car.
Probably. So we're walking to the car. My car's parked a little bit further away from his, and I see this other guy walking across the parking lot, which is a little weird that late at night. And I see them kind of get into like a little like talking aggressively. Next thing I know, the Canadian, my buddy, just takes this guy and starts beating the shit out of him.
Did he pull a shirt over his head?
This guy had a knife and tried to rob him. This was in Arundel Mills Mall. Anybody who's local.
Oh yeah.
Tried to rob him with a knife. He did not give a shit and just beat the shit out of this guy. He knocked him out, then looked at me and just shrugged his shoulders, pulled the guy into an empty parking space, and then left. Like it was just something normal to do. And I was just watching it from my car, like, what in the fuck just happened? And the next day, he didn't even bring it up at work. And I thought, I don't know, and many
For
Canadians.
the rest of my life,
Yeah.
I would talk. I'd be like,
Yeah,
"Hi, I'm
yeah.
Steve.
Right.
I beat up a guy with a knife."
Yeah,
one
I
time."
have like a T-shirt that says that. You know,
That's
like,
what you would be if you could be anything, a tough guy.
Yeah, I forget that.
And that's the only Canadian I've ever met. And I thought,
Do we know him?
no, his guy's name was Nate.
He should be on the show.
Back
Yeah,
when
he should.
I don't even want to say the cell phone company, but it wasn't the same cell phone company that
Oh,
we
yeah.
worked with. And it was just the coolest thing. I thought, that motherfucker is awesome. And I just thought, Canadian hockey players, you don't want to start a fight with a guy who likes to fight.
Right. He's a superhero.
yeah, it's the fun thing about Canadian, like being Canadian, is that like people are like, hey, do you play hockey? And it's like, yes, I do.
Right. You all
It's
play
like,
hockey.
We all fucking play hockey.
And hockey comes with
Well,
fights.
that's why I was like, "How did you get into sailing?"
I
yeah,
don't
because that's
know.
not a very Canadian thing.
Like
Yeah.
I was like, the weather. I would feel like is limited time to sail in Montreal. If that's
Yeah,
where
it's kind of limited. Yeah, I guess I played a lot of hockey, and then everyone went through puberty, and it's like, all right, I'm gonna need a new sport here. And it's like sailing. That seems pretty good. You can do that when you're smaller and a foot shorter than all your friends.
Okay.
So I guess that's what kind of
By
got me into it.
default.
Yeah, it's like the hockey thing wasn't working out
So
for me.
it was either chess or hockey
Oh,
or
chess was
sailing.
never in the cards, but like sailing or skiing or something. Those are kind of
But you
two big ones.
legit tried out for the Olympic sailing team.
So yeah, that's sort of the only way you can continue sailing as a late teenager is if you like say you're going to try to go to the Olympics, because the government will kick in money. Will they'll start paying
As long as you try.
Yeah, as long as you go down
pretty
to Florida, go to some events, and that's the thing. So yeah, you can get become like a carded athlete. You can get money from the provincial government, the federal government. They'll give you like a salary to do this. I mean, not enough to actually cover it. You're always kind of like,
But
begging,
enough that you don't have to get a real job right away.
Yeah, but it's temporary. Like,
Sure.
like if you don't get results in like 6 months or
And what
12 months,
event
you're
was it?
fucking out of there.
Sailing.
It's like
Is that a sport? Yeah. is
no,
that
I was
even
just like, is
a-
that is that not rowing? Like,
No,
so there's
it's sailing.
rowing. I didn't even know sailing was an Olympic
There's
sport.
a
When Joe
specific
said that, I thought it was like
no, there are a lot of Olympic sports I know nothing about.
there's a specific type of sailboat that they use in
Is
Olympic
it
sailing.
the one that you hang on the side and like pull
It's
real
like-
tight,
Yeah, you
where it
gotta,
like lifts up out of the air, like in Tenet?
those are like foiling.
Those are like the high speed.
That shit's
sailboats.
awesome.
Yeah, no, those
It's
are
not
kinda
that
cool.
one, Steve. It's the other sailing.
Well, those might be it
Oh, it's
now.
Yeah, there's
one that
the
I'm
foiling
thinking of is-
windsurfers
yeah.
is getting in there, I think.
Yeah.
For the next round.
All right. This is This has been fun.
It has
Hey,
been
Canadian Geoff, you
Yeah.
know.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah,
I'll
it
just
was
call you Jeff.
Yeah, Canadian Geoff works.
We-
You know.
I need. It's Canadian Geoff.
All right.
Is Canadian your first name and Jeff your last name?
That's really funny.
Is it
See, that's an example of a good Canadian joke. You know.
God damn it.
He just
I'll
said it
take
because
that.
he's in your house.
All
Well,
right.
Yeah,
well,
thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, Thanks for coming
thanks
on.
for coming on, man. Follow us on all our social media at Jim Joe Steve Show on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
And call us and leave us a message like Jeff did, and maybe you can get on the podcast.
Look, he left us a message.
And the next
Then
week,
the next week he's
he
on.
was right back on.
What a
Like, son of
coincidence.
bitch.
856 the JJSS.
And for the Jim Joe Steve Show, my name is Joe.
My name's Steve.
I'm Jim.
And I'm Canadian Joe.
Talk to you guys next week.
See ya.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit, I got no love